Hello and welcome everyone. On today's videos, we're going to be playing with some new product from Spellbinders, and it is simply gorgeous. So I hope you'll follow along and watch all the different things we're going to do. So we have got the Magical Fuchsia cutting dies from Spellbinders, and there are 8 cutting dies for this. You actually can cut out a bloom, a smaller fuchsia flower, and then a larger one, and then you've got the vines with the leaves and everything. We've also got the Magical Fuchsia press and foil plate, and we've got the coordinating embossing folder with it. So much fun. So you can actually foil the panel, press the panel, and then you can emboss it. And there is a coordinating stencil, the layered Magical Fuchsia stencil. There are 5 layers to that. And so I'm starting off here just bringing in my Glimmer machine, and I'm getting my fuchsia plate laid down on there. I'm using some gold Spellbinders foil, and we're going to get this thing foiled up, and this is going to be our first card. So I'm just cutting my foil. We'll get it laid down on there. We always put pretty side to pretty side, and then laying our paper on top of that. I always remember that little rule so that I don't foil wrong. I've heard some people say that they actually have like a label on their machine that tells them how to put it together. So it's not heated up yet. I'm going to go off camera, let it heat up, and then we'll come back in and press it. So you can see that both lights are green. It's ready to go. We're going to bring in the Platinum 6 and just give it a single run through there, and we'll get a beautifully foiled fuchsia panel. Now you could choose to leave this on a panel or die cut it out, however you want to do it. I am going to use the coordinating die, and here we go. So look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Lots of shine, lots of beautifulness there. I've got my little tool to pick up my hot plate. It wasn't that hot. I grabbed it with the other hand anyway. I'm going to bring in the sentiments, and we're going to get them laid on the machine. I did snap the platen right back in there so it would begin heating up again so that I could get right onto my sentiments. And you can see it is showing green, so we're heated up and ready to go. And I'm just going to get them laid on there. We're going to bring in some more of that gold foil and get it laid down on there. I'll bring in some more white hammer mill cardstock. That's what I'm using for these. We'll let this heat up, and while this is heating up, we're just going to lay it aside. We'll bring in our die, and we'll get it lined up on our fuchsia. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut this out before I stencil it. And I'm just going to bring in some of that Best Ever craft tape and get it taped down so that when I run it through my machine, it will not shift and mess up my beautifully foiled design. So I'm just going to take my time with that, trying to make sure that I've got it even all the way around there, and we'll get it laid down. So this video is coming late. We actually went out to dinner last night with my dad. My mom is on a little getaway. It's part of a birthday trip. Her birthday was, we already had her birthday, and we had a big birthday party for her. It was her 70th birthday, but this is a little weekend getaway that she's on. And so we took Dad out to dinner, and then we played a whole lot of aggravation. We also watched Artemis splash into I don't know, whatever they call that, splash. We watched that. And so I didn't do any crafting yesterday. We had just a lot of family time. My sister, my husband, and I, and my dad played the aggravation and watched Artemis. And the boys, we played girls against boys, and the boys just skunked us. I mean, they beat us, I don't know how many games. I'm bringing in spun sugar and kitsch flamingo and seedless preserves for my florals, and then I've got mowed lawn and pine needles that I'm bringing in for the leaves. And I've just got my old waffle flower mat there, and you can see it's really dirty, and we're just going to get our stenciling done. I did speed this up because it does take a little bit of time, and you can see I'm trying to figure out how to line it up. You need to have the stencil facing in the right direction to be able to get it lined up correctly, and that was my problem. I have got these blending brushes from Spellbinders. These are the big ones. I love them. They allow you to put down a lot of color, and it blends really nice. Bringing back in Kitsch Flamingo and adding another layer to my florals. And you can see I'm in my jams. I woke up really early, like 5 a.m., and I had a cup of coffee, and I thought, you know what, I might as well get going. And I've fiddled around. I mean, it's 9 o'clock. I'm doing this voiceover. So, you know, a couple cup of coffees later, and cuddling with the dogs. We are dog sitting as well. Now here I'm taking my rag and just wiping the Distress Oxides off of my foil so that I get all of that beautiful shine. And it does wipe right off, and it just shines through. Now I'm going to take the embossing folder now, and I'm just going to lay my design right in there, get it lined up nice and neat. And I would tell you, pay close attention to those dots on the bottom of that. That'll help you line it up better. I didn't get it exactly right, but notice that that is an area that you need to pay attention to. And I'm talking about the stamen of the flower. There are some like dots there that emboss those. So pay attention to those when you're lining it up, and you'll get a good embossed design. And mine turned out just fine, but it could have been a smidge over, but I'm not going to fret over it. So I just took my 3D sandwich, ran it through, because this is a 3D embossing folder, and you've got great dimension, great shine, and we've got some, you know, some stenciling where we have blended. It's gorgeous. So I did go off camera, and I die cut out those sentiments that I had glimmered or foiled, and I took the panel that I die cut them out of and used the seedless preserves and just laid some ink down on there. It's not perfect, but it's a background panel, and it'll be just fine. So I'm going to bring in my tape runner because I'm struggling with my glue in the middle of this project, and we'll talk about that. I did go off camera and fill my glue bottle, and I'm telling you what, I like to buy, you know, the glue in the large bottle because it's cost savings, but I don't like refilling those bottles at all. It's especially when the bottle's full, it really makes a mess. So you have to take your time and get a real thin stream of the glue dripping in there so that you can get them into the bottle. But I did fill it up. Now here I am bringing in some new dies from Spellbinders that were just released, and they're called Playful Stitched Panels. Love them. We're going to use these on both of our cards. You get 5 of them, and one of them is a tag for the center. And I just used some white hammer mill, and I die cut that out. And we've got a Playful Stitched Panel. And I have brought in some of the treasured gold cardstock, and I used the metallic gold, and I'm going to lay it down on here. Now, I am using that panel that I die cut those sentiments out, but I'm not worried about it. That Spellbinders cardstock is heavy, and then I've got heavy hammer mill on top of it, and I'm not worried at all about, you know, any sagging or whatever. And we're going to get this lined up on our side folding card base, just A2 size, and we have got our fuchsia that we're going to lay down on there. And I'm going to pop it up. I've just got some, I don't know, 1 millimeter foam squares, and I'm going to just line this up kind of in the center of the panel. And then we're going to bring in our sentiment and use it for our card. And I am choosing to use Just Because, and I think we could use this for anything. It is a gorgeous design, I think. I love the ink blended, you know, that we did with the stenciling, and then the fact that we use that same ink to create our layer. I think it just ties everything in together beautifully. And I'm going to bring in some Spellbinders gems. These are kind of the opal ones, and I'm just going to lay 3 of those down on here. I'll put 2 at the bottom, and then we'll put 1 at the opposite on the top, and we'll have a little bit of embellishment on here. I think it's really pretty. So we'll get that laid down on there. And you'll notice I am using the new Spellbinders tools. I'll try to link everything in the description box below that I've used so that you can check it out. But isn't that gorgeous? Love it. Now we're going to go ahead and work with that cutting die set. And what I'm doing here is I've got some panels of white hammer mill, and I'm just using what was on my blending brushes, kind of giving them a cleanup and getting some ink laid down on here. Now this one, I'm getting everything off, and then I decided it's not dark enough, so I'm going to grab some more of the seedless preserves and lay it down on there. And then we have got some panels here that we can use for our die cutting, and we'll get some really pretty kind of variegated petals and stuff for her flowers. Since we ink blended, we're going to have just, you know, a blended floral element, and it's going to come out really pretty as well. So I'm just going to get my dies, and this is from the Magical Fuchsia set, and you need the assembly guide that you can get on the Spellbinders website. It will greatly help you in assembling these, and I want to take a minute and tell you how to get them, how to print them. I've mentioned this several times on my video that you can get the assembly guide, and you can watch me assemble as I talk about this on the Spellbinders website. Click on the product, scroll through the photos, and you'll find the assembly guide. Now, printing it, because I had one of my viewers ask, and I responded yesterday, how can I print it? I have trouble printing it. What I do is I get the picture that has the guide on there, and then I right-click on it and tell it to open it up in a new window. And then I just go to that new window, on my browser, and I print from there. If you open in a new window, you should not have trouble printing it. And that is the case for, any of the things that you want to print from those pictures in there. Like when I get my product, I don't get the packaging. So if I want to print out the packaging picture, which I like to do so I can show, on my videos, I'll click on that picture and I'll right-click, open a new window, and then I'll print from there. And that is how I think you'll find out that you'll best be able to print those cutting guides, and they'll be very helpful to you. Now, the tweezers that I'm using are also part of that new tools set from Spellbinders, and these are called Handicraft Tool Set. And you've got pick up, place, and move. You've got the tweezers that are detail, and they have a bent nose, and they're very sharp on the tip so that you can pick up the tiniest of embellishments. And then you've got a pickup tool. You've got which has the wax tip. You've got the precision tool so that you can poke out all those little bitty die cut pieces. And then you've got the nudger so that you can kind of nudge your stamps or your press and foil plates into place for ideal results, is what it says. So I'll link those tools up as well. But there are lots of pieces to this. Essentially, the large fuchsia is the small fuchsia layers with additional pieces. And so if you get the small one figured out, assemble it, and then assemble another one like it and add the extra pieces to it, it will be a larger fuchsia flower. Now, I know I did my stems in green. The picture shows it in the color of the fuchsia. And I also know that I did what I'm going to call the stamen area in green, and it's probably yellow, but I'm using my own creative design. I wanted to keep my colors simple, and so I chose to do the green. I'm sure someone will tell me that it's not the right color, but I just decided to do that and just kind of keep my colors the same. Anyway, so I'm just going to layer it up and try to get it assembled as best I can. And I've got some leaves there on my desk already, and I will realize that I need more leaves, and I'll go off camera and die cut and bring some more in. But we're going to get these flowers assembled. So we've got the bud on the left side. We've got the smaller floral on the right side, and then we're going to have the bigger one in the middle. And I've got an extra piece up there of floral that I won't be using. I kind of die cut out some extra ones just so if I needed a lighter color on one or a darker color on the other, I could kind of mix and match. And so that's what I did. And so there we go. We've got our large fuchsia assembled, and we're going to get it laid down on its little kind of tubular base that it lays on. And we'll just, we've got our leaves. I've done some, in addition to the ink blending on those panels that I die cut them out in, I also brought my blending brush and my pine needles and added, some variation of color on the leaves. And So we're going to get some of these laid down, and then I'm going to realize I want more, and I will go off screen and bring some more in, and we'll add some more flowers to it. But very fun set. And these could make, I'm not adding the sentiments for them today, but this set would make a beautiful Mother's Day set. You could, if you had some Mother's Day sentiments, you could add them to this and they would make for some beautiful Mother's Day cards. I think that would be lovely. And so I may do that because I'm still making cards for my daughter's event that she's having, in which I'm supposed to have Mother's Day cards in there. And so I might make some more of these and add some Mother's Day cards to them. So I'm just going to continue to add these leaves. We'll go get some more and bring them in. Here we go. I got some more. I ink blended some more, and I'm just going to add some more. I've got my glue bottle filled, and we're good to go on that. So we'll just keep tucking some leaves. And you can, right now my leaves I think you can adjust your leaves to where they can be in front of that stem or behind the stem or however you want it. I kind of adjusted mine right there and put them in front of them as I realized where I wanted to add the next one. And there we go. So we'll just keep adding these leaves and filling in and just kind of making this a little bit more fuller. And we'll tuck some more in. I need some around that big flower down there. The one piece that is there you will see that is laying just above that. That's actually a floral element that I had accidentally die cut out in green, and I thought, well, I'm going to use it for leaves, and you won't know the difference. It's going to be just filler, and I tuck it behind there. Now, I'm trying to cover up the top of that stem there, and so I'm just laying that on there, and I'm going to get it positioned how I want it. And I thought 3 leaves up at the top would be nice, so I'm just going to add that to it. I think you can use your little leaf on that, but I went with a bigger one. And then we'll tuck another one in on this other side. And we've got, just a real pretty, I think the pink and the green just look beautiful together, and they contrast nicely. So there we go. So I'm going to bring in my panels, and we're going to get this assembled. Let's just take a quick look at it. Isn't it pretty? Love it. So I'm going to bring in a white card panel, and I'm going to bring in some layers that we're going to use to layer up our panels. I brought in those playful stitched nested dies again, and I've got some Spellbinders cardstock, and I've got some vellum, and then I did ink blend the Seedless Preserves a good panel, and I die cut out the shadow from that. And this sentiment is the thank you that is part of the, where is that? Let me see what it's called. The Essentially Yours collection, and there are 8 dies that released in the Essentially Yours collection. I think I might show it in a minute. And you have a lot of them, and I'm using the thank you for that. So I'm getting this panel laid down on here, and we're going to bring in some dimension and pop this up. And I will tell you, you can see all those wonky kind of dots on that gold panel because of the way I laid that glue on there. It just made it look terrible. And I will go off camera, rip it apart, and I'll get a new gold panel. I'll use some tape runner and get it laid down on there. And I actually have to die cut out another green piece. Totally wasted some cardstock there. But I just was not satisfied. I was not going to leave that splotchy gold panel behind there where the glue had made just terrible. And you can see it better there, I think, where you can see like almost circular spots where that glue was. And I'm like, I am not having that. I'll rub it, and I'm like, nope, nope, off camera. Tore that sucker apart, pulled the card base off, put a new gold panel on there with tape runner, and then die cut out another one of those panels, and we're going to get some glue on here. Now, this won't matter. It's not going to show through the, it's just that gold cardstock. It shows just every little thing. I've got a little thing up there in the upper corner I'm trying to rub off. And then we're going to get our vellum panel that we've got our florals laid on, and we can just put glue behind our vellum and it won't show, and then we'll get it laid down on there. This is new vellum that I ordered off of Amazon, and it's a little bit thicker than the vellum that I had before. And I'm glad, because the vellum I had before, when I was using the Anna Griffin, it was like where the stitch details was, it was like cutting that off. It was just too thin. So got some more vellum. And I'm going to get this thank you laid down on there and get it lined up nice and neat. I use the seedless preserves for the background, and I'm taking that poke tool and cleaning the glue off around here. And I'm looking at it thinking, oh, it's off a little bit. And I'm just kind of trying to decide where I'm going to stick at it, and I'm still looking at it. And the U and the K was down a little bit low, so I pulled it in close, moved it, and now it looks better. And I'm just going to clean off the extra glue there. And then we'll just get this sentiment laid down on here. We've got 2 beautiful fuchsia cards. This is a really fun new set from Spellbinders. And if you love florals, I think you'll love this set. And the press and foil plate is super fun. And to have that layering stencil that goes with it makes for an easy and yet gorgeous card. I've got some gems here, or dots here from Spellbinders, and a kind of a light pink and a dark pink. And I'm just going to lay a couple of those at the top or at the bottom. And then I think we'll bring a couple into the top. I think I did 3 at the bottom and 2 at the top, and we'll just position those, and we've got a little extra interest in there. And so I'm going to show you the die set and then the foiled card, and I think they're just gorgeous. I've taken some pictures for you to check out. If you like, please consider hitting that like, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye now.